My name is Jennifer Tuttle, and I work for the Sierra Club's Beyond Coal campaign. The Sierra Club is a national grassroots organization that has been fighting the good environmental fights for many, many, many years. And the Beyond Coal campaign is one aspect of what we work on. So I'm going to be talking just kind of about our wind work today. But do know that the Sierra Club is very much working to fight fracking in the New York site, and has been on a lot of other environmental issues as well. I'm just talking about one component of what it is that we're doing. And I am very excited to be talking to a room full of adults today. I just have an 11-week-old baby, and so most of my days I'll sticking my tongue out at her and seeing if she can do it back. So thank you for having me. But, I know that we all some people have talked about their grandchildren and how that's driving their work, but, I've been an activist and doing this work for about 10 years now, but having Nora really did bring this home to me, mostly also because her father works for the Sierra Club in Kentucky, and he works on the front lines of mountaintop removal, and, when she was 2 weeks old, we were down there, and then we were just back there right when the West Virginia, the chemical spill happened into the water. We were 3 hours away from that, so having just been in his community where we really have seen the impacts of an extractive industry, it's devastating, and I want to make sure that she grows up in a place where she can drink the water and we don't have to worry about it. That would be really wonderful. So that's part of what's been driving me lately. And something that, I think we'll have a lot of people here talking about the dangers of fracking, the dangers really of any extraction for fossil fuels. And I want to focus a little bit on the solutions. And we really see that if we can bring a lot of renewable energy online, it's going to take the pressure off of the need to have something like a coal or natural gas power plant. So that's sort of what we've been working on a lot lately. Our goal this year is to have a commitment to wind similar to the New York Sun commitment. We know that Andrew Cuomo is a strong leader, and he really, it's his way or it's the highway, so we want to make wind part of his way. We want to see a commitment to doubling onshore wind capacity this year. We want to see an offshore wind project moving forward. Obviously, it's not going to be finished this year because it takes quite a while, but we want to see a real commitment to get one moving this year. And my non-human baby is I got so used over the years to saying my baby in this project is, but now I have a real baby, so I really want to see a wind supply chain happening and really start to focus on component manufacturing, because as a lifelong resident of upstate New York, we know how to make steel, we know how to make a lot of things, and we really need to put people to work actually building some of the 8,000 parts that go into a wind turbine. And one of the reasons we're focusing on wind and not just solar is because we have a lot to get done. We know that climate change is real, it's happening, and in order to put any dent in it, we feel that we need to have a mix of both utility scale generation, which is going to be your wind, and also distributed power, because ultimately the democratization of power is really important to us as an organization as well. So we're really trying to marry the need to get a lot of wind and a lot of renewable energy going to make a difference in Nora's world or your granddaughter's world or whoever you're fighting for, to make a difference in their life now, but also to really bring power back to the people. So we're focusing on both aspects of that. What we see is some of the challenges, and there are a lot. I'll end on the positive notes, but just to outline some of the challenges. As environmentalists, we have a lot to do. We have a really big agenda, and everything we're working on is incredibly important. So how do we bring together and talk out of one voice to combine our substantial power to really push a target who's difficult to move like Governor Cuomo and really make this something that he wants to do? Because it's not going to happen if we have a fractured voice. So how do we meet all of our needs so we're not abandoning important work, but really come together to push them forward and really achieve something great this year? I think there's a lot of misinformation out there on wind, both in terms of our own community and our own houses, and also in the general public. So how do we have a real conversation about what the concerns are with siting versus, what some of the really positive benefits are to rural landowners and farmers and people who can increase their property values and reduce emissions? And how do we have that conversation in a way that we're not talking down to anyone or oversimplifying the issue, but we're really getting the meat of the fight out there? I talked a little bit about the utility scale production versus distributed wind, and I think that that's something that we're seeing a lot within our own house. How do we have that conversation with each other so that we're able to move on both fronts? Because as I talked about earlier, we think that both are necessary. And then I think getting this onto labor and the broader progressive community's agenda is something that's been challenging. It's starting to happen, but we really want to make sure that we're not leaving our brothers and sisters in the labor movement out, and that people who are working with low-income communities and who have a lot on their plate How do they make this an issue that's relevant to them? So those are some, I think, the challenges and things we're trying to work out as an organization and with our Grass Tops leader, many who are here today, and I'm very happy to see so many Sierra Club activists in the room. And then some of the bright spots. We know that we can move our elected officials. You know, we've been very successful so far in holding the line on fracking in New York State, which is not something we can say in a lot of other places. So we know that we have the power as a movement to hold the line and to make progress. We saw with New York Sun that that wasn't really on the governor's radar before a lot of people put it on his radar and spent a lot of time really pushing that. So we can do it. How do we have a New York wind commitment? I think public awareness is at the all-time high. You know, we've really seen the impacts of polar vortexes and, you know, people's kids are home from school because the weather is so crazy, like they're starting to pay attention to it. And we saw the real economic impact with Hurricane Sandy. So, you know, the awareness is there. Now we just have to make it something that they feel they can take ownership of and take action on, and it's not just this big problem that there's no way to solve, so I'm just going to focus on something else. And then I've been really excited about the diversity of support for wind that is starting to grow. You know, you see the Department of Defense behind it, the Reinsurance Industry of America behind it, in addition to our voices in environmental movement. So I think that's really exciting and something we can build on together. And just to bring it all back together, we really want to see this commitment to doubling onshore wind, to getting offshore wind moving, and to making New York a leader in manufacturing. And if we can make part of Andrew Cuomo's legacy of leadership actually doing something about climate disruption, that will be a huge win and something we can all celebrate. So thank you very much, and I'm going to try to end at least 1 minute early. Yay!